So again, this is Don Zika. This is part 3 of my first 8th edition battle report, starting at Lizardmen turn 4. The Lizardman, he doesn't have any charges this turn. He's going to turn his Saurus warriors around that pursued my warriors off the board last turn to face my Cold One Knights. He's also going to reform his Croxagore to face my warriors, and his Skinks are going to stay kind of positioned to shoot at my crossbow. Then he's going to do several things in his magic phase. He'll cast the Awakening the Wood, I think, on my Cold One Knights, killing one. He's going to cast Flesh to Stone on his Saurus unit that's fighting my Dark Riders. And he's also going to cast Regrowth on that Saurus unit, which I think resurrects several of them, both of which are pretty bad news for those Dark Riders. Then his shooting is ineffective, and the only combat is my Lord against his Temple Guard, in which basically nothing else happens. So that brings us to Dark Elf turn 4. I don't have a whole lot of movement. Basically, my Cold One Knights are going to move forward a little bit so that they'll hopefully be able to charge his Saurus warriors, and my warriors are going to back up in hopes that his Croxagore will fail to charge them. Then on my magic phase, I only have one mage left, so the only thing I'm going to be able to do is to dispel his Throne of Vines on his Slann. So hopefully that'll slow him down slightly in his next magic phase. And then in my shooting, my bolt thrower and my crossbowman are going to kill several more skinks. So there are only 2 of them and 2 skink chiefs in that unit. And then in combat, my lord is still going to be fighting his temple guard, and nothing's really going to happen there. But my Dark Riders are now fighting. There are only 2 of them. They're fighting a unit of something like 8 Saurus warriors with toughness 8. So they don't really do any damage, and they all get killed. And that's my turn 4. So here's the board on Lizardman turn 5. He's going to declare charges against my warriors with his Croxagore, and against my Cold Ones with his Saurus warriors. The Saurus warriors don't make it, but the Croxagore do. Besides that, his only real maneuver element left is his Skink unit and his Saurus. The Saurus don't really go anywhere, and his Skinks move into the flank of my crossbows to try and avoid my shooting. So on the magic phase, I've got a sheet of paper here where I scribbled down some notes about the various magic phases to keep track, and all I have written for the Lizardman's turn 5 magic phase is 11 power dice and everything. So to make that more concrete, he manages to cast Regrowth on his Skinks. That'll resurrect 7 of them, bring the unit back up to pretty close to full strength. He's going to cast Awakening the Wood on my Crossbowmen, and that'll kill several more of them. And the remaining, I believe, Sorceress and 1 Crossbowman are going to fail their panic check and never come back because they're below 25%. He's also going to, I believe, cast the Dwellers Below on my Cauldron of Blood, although that doesn't really do anything. He's also going to cast Shield of Thorns on his Croxagore, so they're going to do 2d6 Strength 4 hits in addition to all of their regular close combat attacks. And I think he makes his Temple Guard regenerate I managed to dispel the +4 toughness spell, but it was a pretty epic magic phase for him. Then in his shooting phase, he's going to, I believe, put a wound on my Cauldron of Blood with his poison blowpipe attacks. And in close combat, my Lord is going to keep fighting his Temple Guard block. Nothing's going to happen there. But his Croxagore are going to kill... They're going to lose 1 Croxagore and kill almost every one of my Warriors unit, who will then break and be run down. Alright, then that's Lizardman turn 5. In my turn 5, I'm going to charge his Saurus Warriors with my Cold One Knights. Now... I'm sorry, but my camera ran out of batteries at this point. I didn't have any other batteries on hand, so I don't have any more pictures for the rest of the game. But I'll try and sum up my turn 5 and both sides' turn 6. Essentially, my Cold Ones hit the Saurus. They're buffed up by the Cauldron of Blood, and they hit just hard enough that the Saurus aren't steadfast. So I break them and run them down, but that's basically it for my turn. And then on Lizardman turn 6, he's going to manage to kill my Cauldron of Blood with shooting and magic, but it won't do anything else. So at the end of the game, I'll have my Lord, my Cold One Knight unit, and my Bolt Thrower, and he'll have his Croxagore, his Skinks, a unit of Saurus, his Temple Guard, and his Slann. We didn't really bother to add it up because it was a pretty obvious massacre for the Lizardmen. I mean, I guess I lost for several reasons. For one, the scenario put my Cold One Knights and my warriors on the left flank where I really didn't want them to be, and that made it hard for me to coordinate my combat troops against his blocks. So, like as you saw, I never pulled off a combined charge. The other big thing is that charging my Cold Ones into his Skinks on turn one was foolish. Uh, but I mean, the big thing though was that in Eighth Edition, the Slann Mage Priest is just incredible. His magic output, it made Lizardmen like fighting undead. They didn't stay dead. His magic would just walk over you, and you'd almost always have some sort of a big nasty buff on whichever enemy unit you're fighting at any given time. So I don't know. I mean, a lot it remains to be seen. I thought this was a fun game. So far, I'm pretty optimistic about 8th edition, but my brother and I were both thinking that a variation on this Lizardman army might turn out to be like the tournament power list going into 8th edition. All right, well, that's it. Hopefully, I'll have more soon, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.